Львівський муніципальний мистецький центр.
Okay, hello. Thank you for coming tonight. And I also want to thank Lviv Art Center for inviting me here. And of course, Anton, who was also part of the reason why I was invited here. So my name is Stіна Lєек. I'm a street artist, illustrator, a culture organizer, and a residency manager. And I'm from Tartu, Estonia. So Estonia is a super small country, and Tartu is an even smaller city. So yeah, to survive in the cultural field, even a little bit, you have to be like doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's why there's a lot of names here, and I'm also like sometimes a curator, sometimes a cleaner, sometimes the person who does the cabling and carries the chairs. So it's a little bit of everything. Just to give a little background to those who don't know anything about Tartu, then yeah, it's like I said, it's a really small city. It's 39 square kilometers in size, and we have a little bit less than 100,000 citizens in Tartu. But it's a student city. We are quite famous for the university we have in Tartu. It has a very good higher education that they give there. And that creates Tartu as this platform of new, fresh, cultural and alternative ideas. It's been historically like that. And that is the reason why I've always stayed in Tartu, even after all these years, and even though it's such a small place. So yeah, maybe that gives a little bit of the background to everything that I am doing. As an artist, I try to, it's actually really weird to do a presentation about yourself. I realized while putting this together. To give some keywords, I wrote down wonky, stupid, and spontaneous, in the sense that I put down stupid not to, I don't know, put down myself or to say something bad, but I found that I find stupid things funny, and if my art makes me, giggle a little bit, like that's so stupid, then I feel like I have succeeded. And it's also very spontaneous, so I try not to overthink about it, because everything else outside my art I overthink, so this is my space of not doing it. If to put it into a category of something, then I usually describe it as lowbrow art. It's not a very familiar term to a lot of people, but yeah, you can look it up later. It's coming from the United States, like most things in this like new age era. What's also very kind of important thing about how I do my things and why I do my things and everything about it is not taking myself too seriously. I feel there's a lot of taking themselves too seriously in the art world in general, so I'm trying to be like a little bit of silliness in this very prestigious and sometimes even like a little bit elitist world. And I also put down the keyword selfish and stubborn, because when I create my own art, I say that I'm selfish in the sense that my art is, for me, it's a tool to keep myself sane. So I've really understood how much art as a practice, just as something to do, has been beneficial for my mental health. So that has also made me stubborn, that I make no amends to who I do my art and how I do my art. I try not to do like a lot of corporate things, because yeah, it's like a free mental health tool, so why should I ruin this for myself? And also, I try to be very courageous about saying that I'm selfish and stubborn. It's not a very good keyword to have while creating visual arts in a time like this. But I've realized, because I also work closely with young art students and young people overall, then I've realized that this kind of way of representing myself has been like bringing the courage to the young people also. So I try to be brave in this, because this kind of reflects to them and it helps them also be a little bit more courageous in this field that sometimes feels very, like hard to achieve and very prestigious and sometimes hard to understand also. A little bit to illustrate the stupid things. Here's a porcelain cup illustration I did for the Streets of Baltics project, which is organized by Krasta Keramika. They are a porcelain studio and a ceramic studio in Riga, Latvia. And yeah, there's a farting butterfly. It's farting tribal. So this, I thought that this is so stupid that I have to make it. So I did. It's very weird to present all the stupidness, but yeah, I try to say that it makes sense in a larger scheme. And also there are like some obscenities that I like to illustrate in a little bit of funny way. I feel like when I do my art, I'm kind of connecting to the child in me, so it's very just like silly things like, haha, there's a vagina, haha. Yeah, I don't really, again, I don't overthink it. This is very simple, understandable, I think. And yeah, hopefully it will bring some people in some ways closer to art, because I feel like a lot of illustrations I do are highly inspired by like cartoons and silly things that connect to my childhood and the times where everything was stupid and naive. And yeah, I tried to be very bold in representing that attitude. I'm also a street artist, like I said, and I've been in the illustration world like as long as I can remember, but I got into street art more when I was a volunteer in Sensibility Street Art Festival, which is actually a street art festival in Tartu, and it's been running for 15 years over there. Like, at first I represented Tartu as this place where these alternative things grow and start out. Then Sensibility is a good example of that. They bring international artists to Tartu, this really small city, every year, and they've been doing it for 15 years, so it shows a little bit of the attitude around the city vibe that we have in Tartu. And when I try to like describe my street art and how it looks, then yeah, I think the very distinctive parts about it are the very fat wonky lines and the dot work that I do to create the shadows for the imagery. And mostly on the streets I have this theme of painting flowers and eyeballs. It came very naturally because when I was volunteering in Sensibility, that basically the situation was that it has a very free, creative vibe overall at the festival. So it was basically like, here's a wall, here's a can, paint. And then you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? So I started painting these flowers right from the beginning. It came out very spontaneous and I didn't really think about it that much. But throughout the time and the more I painted them, then they became a symbol of this feeling when you're in a dark place, but you come out of it and you realize you find hope again. You kind of open your eyes again to the world and see the areas that you forgot about through these more difficult times. And through that, I started duplicating this image through the countries that I visited, and if I paint walls, then I most likely will paint a flower with an eyeball in it to represent that same mentality and understanding, and in the hopes that maybe someone will kind of feel some comfort from finding these flowers on the streets. When to describe myself as a street artist, then I usually prefer the very slow processes where I can really take my time next to the wall. I prefer painting with brushes, so just the times between drying the paint of acrylics and everything, then it takes more time than, for example, painting with spray cans. So I try to find the spaces where I can take the time. So thankfully, I really enjoy painting in abandoned places because of the textures and how my this bright and clear lined artwork pops from those raw textures. I like the contrast that it brings with the imagery and with the energy in those spaces, and also how the colors pop. So it's kind of the perfect space for me overall. Like when you say that there's a street art, and when I do illegal work, because I prefer doing illegal work, then I try to choose the spaces where I can actually do it in my terms. So meaning I don't usually go just bombing walls in every corner, but I usually try to go to more secure, places where people don't go that much, to have that time. And also I like to believe that if I do put all the time and effort into these spaces, then the people who do eventually find it, then it creates a bigger impact than maybe even artworks that are in very visible places. At least that's what I like to tell myself. Here's another example of what I painted in Aberdeen, Scotland. So we went to Aberdeen with Sensibility. We visited the street art festival there. And so when we go to other cities, then basically I walk around and try to find those textures and those compositions where I could create my artwork the way that I want to. And also, as I mentioned before, I like the slow process, I like the textures, and I try to find those spots where I can do those things on my terms. So in actually a very random area outside of the city center, totally, there was this abandoned, how to say, I don't even know what it exactly is, what spot it is, like an abandoned parking lot or something, and it was closed with a gate, so I had to climb through the gate to actually reach to the wall and to paint it, and I really find it beautiful to paint in this quite random area where people don't even walk that much, and especially in this space, because if you want to go really near, you have to also kind of illegally enter this abandoned parking lot. So I really hope that the people who did find it or saw it while walking past, it creates this some kind of special feeling about it. And also I like the layers of thinking how people would see it only through the rusted fence that is kind of in front of it. So it creates another extra layer. And it was a weird process because I had to wait before the layers, between the layers of drying, to come and do the shadows or the outlines. So I was basically just behind the corner of this very random ditch, spending time with seagulls and thinking that's my grown-up life. This one is in Tallinn. Again, I was trying to find a place where I could take my time. And I also tried to be respectful, which is also a little bit maybe a duality of how some street artists or graffiti artists work. So I found the space. I liked I like the area where it's at and how it looked actually from the far also. Unfortunately, I don't have a better picture. With this one, I just thought that, okay, this is basically just a wooden board. If I cover this wooden board and someone has a problem with it, then I'll just say that, okay, I'll pay for your wooden board. It's not that big of a damage that can really upset someone to a term that they would have to, I don't know, put me in jail. Okay, they wouldn't put me in jail anyway, but yeah. Basically, I just went there and painted this illegally in a very busy street during the day. But yeah, since it was such a spot that no one really cares about this area or this space, then nothing really happened. Even though I enjoy the slow processes, then I sometimes find quicker ways to work. So these ones are done with spray can and also with some paste apps. And this is actually done in Tartu. And because of Stensibility Street Art Festival that's been running for 15 years in Tartu, then Tartu has become this kind of perfect playground for street artists. Stensibility kind of has this manifest that we strive by to, that we work illegally, but we do it with a, clear conscience and with the aim of naively thinking that we are making the cityscape better. So actually it has created this conversation between everyone and also the police. So if you're actually following the rules and painting in spaces that like this, which has already been tagged and already been run over so many times, and if I would have gotten caught, then it's very likely that the police would just say like, okay, it is what it is, go home and don't come back here. So the police is actually really friendly in Tartu to street artists. If you're like tagging private property, then there's like, yeah, they cannot not do anything about it. But if you choose these ratchet spaces, then yeah, they're most likely very fine with it. And yeah, here are just a few more examples of the works that I've done, also that illustrate very well of the spaces that I like to visit and how I like to paint. This one is a good example of how going bigger doesn't always have to be better, in my opinion. Like, I feel like with a lot of my street artist friends, there's this thing that if you start painting, then you want to go bigger and go into big murals and do more and more, even bigger works. And I've never really found that interesting for me. Of course, that's like really awesome to see how other people paint these huge murals, but I've never found it very inspiring for myself. And I've actually found the opposite, to go even smaller. So this work was done also in Aberdeen, Scotland. We went on a little unofficial tour to abandoned houses, and I found this tapestry texture or pattern of these flowers, and I just painted the eyeballs in it, and it's like maybe this big in size in real life. And yeah, just the effect that you do something, leave this little hint behind of yourself, and if someone finds it, I feel like it's some kind of a magical connection that you can have to your audience, even if you never meet them in real life. And to go forward with more of the culture organizing themes of what I do, I started this community of alternative creatives in Estonia, and I called it Ajuokse. And the focus of this community is bringing together these alternative creatives and giving them the opportunity to showcase the artwork. So because Estonia is so small, then I realized that there are a lot of really, really awesome creatives that do amazing artworks and amazing work overall, but we're very like secluded. We don't really work together that much. I think it's a very, the way Estonians work, we are very more introverted and keep to ourselves. So I thought that, oh, this is just, you know, stupid. Let's work together. Let's try to bring all these creatives together, especially because there's not a lot of space for more alternative makers. Like, and by alternative, I mean like comic artists or lowbrow artists or illustrators, street artists, tattooers, as you can see also in the photo. And I wanted to find a way to highlight them. So now the work that I do and I've done for the past 5 years is basically creating projects, different projects to highlight them. And this is one example of how we organized this pop-up flash day with a local tattoo studio. So, which basically means that they opened their studio in another location for one day, and people could come by and get like these quicker and smaller tattoos. Here's another example of the things that I've been doing. So this summer we had this birthday festival in Tartu, and we've already gathered some international creatives into our realm, let's say like that. And also we really appreciate creative freedom, so I don't want to dictate what anyone wants to do or like be like this mean curator or anything. So we just ask these wall spaces that we can use however we want to, and basically I wrote the project to get artists from Lithuania, Latvia, also from Germany and Italy to Tartu just to paint whatever they want. Just go for it. And this just gives this platform for these creatives to kind of bond, meet each other, and hopefully, what is also my dream, is to also maybe have this platform for creating their own projects, that they meet each other and they're like, oh, let's work together. So this community lives on even after the work that I have done. Another example is art market. We call them especially these alternative art markets, and we try to gather again those creatives that I mentioned before. This is just another example of how you can bring the art closer to the audience and showcase so many different makers in one area. These we organize in cooperation with Aparaaditehas, which is a culture factory in Tartu. And yeah, since Aparaaditehas is quite known, then these festivals always attract a lot of different people from all areas, thanks to the fact that Aparaaditehas is involved. So it creates this nice synergy and this wow effect that I bring these alternative creatives that not a lot of people know, and Aparaaditehas brings basically all these people from all kinds of areas, and it works really well. This wow effect and a lot of like realization that wow, these people actually exist, and there's a lot of them. And also we do exhibitions, different ones. This is a graffiti writer from Tallinn who by chance was just dabbling in some ceramics, and he wrote to me and said that, hey, I actually want to showcase my ceramics. And I was like, of course, I'll find the space, I'll find the time, and we'll organize this. This is one good example because he is quite known in Tallinn for very illegal reasons. So it would be kind of hard for him to organize this by himself because he has to maintain his anonymity. I don't know if I said it right, but yeah, he cannot show who he is. So we kind of created this space without using any faces and names, and I could represent the artworks myself and open the exhibition in a way that he would not have to be involved so closely. And yeah, just a few visual examples of the exhibitions that we've done. In the left one, there's the exhibition of Finnish artist Rakastaja Robert, who opened his exhibition Bad to the Boner. It involved different ceramic pieces and comics and a lot of different fun and kind of stupid stuff also. And the other example is when we were invited to do an exhibition in Voronia Gallery, which is actually the small gallery in an old boathouse in like further away from all the bigger cities, basically just in the middle of a village. And we created this fictional band with the members of our community and illustrated the characters to pretend the band. So yeah, there's like, we try to have fun with what we are doing, and hopefully it creates this platform of introducing this weirdness to the audience also, because maybe it might not be such a unfamiliar visual language to you, but in Estonia it's really unrepresented. It's basically, there's only like very small exhibitions in bars that only random drunk people will see, and then there's already the contemporary art scene that represents also very cool artists, but it doesn't, there's no space for these alternative makers like us. And another good thing that I realized is a good way to show the different artworks is scenes. So we release these scenes, try to release at least one a year to have these showcases of these artists. And here's an example of our first art residency, the result that this street artist from Italy did, Tera Drop, in our hangar. And hopefully, this was just the first one, but hopefully we can find a way to maintain these residencies because, as I said before, this bringing the community together and also showcasing these artworks is very important to me. And I've realized, thanks to my work at Taipa, which I would talk in a few slides, these artists in residence experiences are super valuable for actually connecting with the artists who come to Tartu, and actually these are the situations that actually create these emotional bonds. Oh, and this is just a little sidetrack from the visual parts that we also organize music festivals, and this is just a punk festival that we did recently also, because also these alternative scenes are a little bit underrepresented, so we try to do all kinds of different things with the scene. And next year we are opening our own gallery. Finally, it's been 5 years of doing just different projects in different spaces, and we have some spaces that we can use, but they are not so perfect. But with the gallery, I am really hoping that the residency projects can kick up and we can maintain this community, because as far as I've understood from Latvian, Lithuanian and Finland and the artists that reside in those areas, there aren't a lot of these types of galleries and spaces. So now Taipa Center. So yeah, as I said from the beginning, in a small place like Estonia and even smaller city like Tartu, you have to hustle in different areas to get things to survive actually. And I also work in Taipa Center, and Taipa is a printing, letterpress, and paper art center. We also work as a museum where we present the history of printing and paper making. And in Taipa, I work as a residency and galleries coordinator. It's the residency program in Taipa is actually one of the longest running residencies in Estonia. So we've been doing this quite a while, and we accept like approximately 10 artists per year. We have like different programs for them, and every artist who comes here gets their apartment, gets their studio space, and if they wish, they also get the time in the gallery to create an exhibition there. Usually our residencies are like 2 to 3 months long, because we realize that if you're working with printmaking or with letterpress especially, then it takes time to create these artworks. It takes time to get to know the environment. It takes time to, it takes time. So that's why we try to have these longer residencies that last, at least 2 months. And here is, on the top, you can see one of the galleries. We have 2 small galleries that we use for our exhibitions. And on the other picture, you can see the artist studio with the 2 presses. We also have, like from the previous pictures, this is from the museum area where all the letterpress machines are, which can be also used. And we have a lot of old type, from wooden type and metal type and everything like that. If there are any letterpress geeks in here, then we also have monotype and linotype, which are the machines that create the type, which is very special in the area that I am from. So there are different ways of coming to the residency, like different projects that we accept. There was a picture of the printmaking studio. We also have a fully equipped paper-making kitchen, and which was not represented in the photos is that we also have a dark room. So we can accept artists from exactly these areas, but actually we are really open to artists of different kinds and different mediums. They just should have some interest in creating something in those realms also, but we are actually very open. From the top picture, you can see our other exhibition space that we have. And that was a good example. Sahars Zee from Latvia came to our residency, who is an illustrator and street artist, and also does ceramics. So he created these ceramic pieces during his residency, but he also did some screen printing. We are really open to the mediums that people want to do in our residencies. And I just, as the residency coordinator, try to find the appropriate studios and appropriate materials that the artist wishes to work with. The residency program in Taipa is actually the reason why I'm here and how I got here. Антон Худо, a local artist, came to Taipa residency in 2023, and that's how we got introduced. And he is opening his exhibition right next door next week, and I am here to help him out with that also. So yeah, just to connect the dots of how all of this makes sense and how all of this is connected. And for some practical information, I'm going to share some open call information that I am also involved with. So some years ago, in Estonia, there was started this Estonian Creative Residences Network called LORE. And for the second time, we applied for funding to have a residency, to provide residency programs for Ukrainian artists. And we just recently got the news that, yes, we got the funding. So in January 2025, we can share some more information about it. But what I can say right away is that this is a fully funded residency, meaning the materials, travel, and also a stipend for the artist is all involved in the program. And Taipa Center is also involved with this. But with Taipa, there are 8 other residencies that will offer this opportunity. So if you're a creative of any kind, you can keep your eye out. You can do a photo of the screen. I put the QR code here to find the page, which at the moment just says information coming in January 2025. But yeah, this will soon come out. And this residency program that is open call is opened at this very moment. It's a program that is also in Tartu, funded by Goethe, funded by the European Union, but it's organized by Goethe Institute and Tartu through 2024, the European Capital of Culture program. But AJU-OKSE, the alternative community, is the official partner to them. So the artist who will be selected will work in our spaces and also work along with me. And I will try to help with the artist in their creative endeavors. But this is like a very specific residency program, because it's not actually organized by us as such. We are just a partner, and the outcome of this residency should creatively address the cycling challenges of each city. So this is already the second year of this. So the previous artist created musical installations that would live when people would cycle. Like she created these elements that she put on the wheels and everything, that the wind and also the movement of the wheels would create this some kind of musical cycle, for example. But it can be pretty much anything that connects to cycling or sustainability overall in transportation. And this residency will be 30 days long in June 2025. The accommodation, travel costs, studio space and materials are all part of the program, and this is funded. And also you will get the financial contribution of 1,500 euros. So if anyone feels like this is also interesting or somehow relates to their artistic practice, then do a photo and try to find the page and apply. And here is just the Instagram accounts if you want to find me, Taipa Center or AJU-OKSE, or if you have any questions afterwards and want to contact me either while I'm here in Lviv or when I go back to Tartu. I don't know, for example, anyone wants any information about Tartu or Estonia or the artistic scene in Estonia or whatever it may be, you can always contact me. Also for the residency information, write me. I will tell you everything. And yeah, that's about it on my side. It was a lot, I'm sorry. But does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. Have you left a trace somewhere here in Lviv?
Not yet, not yet.
Are you planning to?
I hope so. I hope I can. Yeah, it would be very, very nice to leave a flower on the walls of here also. Anyone else? No?
How is it for you to be in a country where the war is happening?
It is surreal. but Ukrainian people are very warm and welcoming, in my experience. So I felt very, very kept and held, you know. But of course, it is a difficult, hard, and heavy situation. But yeah, I really like Ukrainian people and their attitude, and yeah, how welcoming they are overall.
Have you checked out street art somewhere?
Yes, we went to one gallery today. Can you say what was the one that?
Street art gallery.
Okay, yeah, that's an easy name.
Do you have any plans to visit here for art?
Excuse me?
Do you have any plans to visit other Ukrainian cities, like, I know, culturally? It might be even more interesting in terms of street culture, even though it's more
interesting?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But unfortunately, no, I cannot, because my time here is quite packed already in Lviv, so there's not time for traveling around, especially with the exhibition project also, but there's also other times. I'm planning to make this not the last trip to Ukraine, definitely.
Have you been recognized for your signature flower?
In Estonia, yeah, but other places, I don't know. Plus, the other thing is that I never sign my works, so it's hard to connect the dots. Especially if I'm in a foreign city, I leave like some flowers and no trace how to find me ever. So it's a very like rare thing that someone recognize it somewhere. But in Tartu, because that is such a small city, and also in Estonia, they recognize the very distinctive wonkiness about it.